excited about what God is teaching them and ready for some new responsibilities in France.
I am happy and fulfilled in God's grace today.
Joyful.
Happy.
Excited about serving God.
Excited for the changes that God's making in my heart.
I love to read, I love history, and I love to be able to explore and see the things around Europe where we live.
Would be being involved with young people, either socially or in ministry. I just love being around young people. So.
Sports. And I guess because I was always involved in sports growing up, playing it, watching it.
I love to work with young people. I like to serve with them. I like to preach at the camps.
I like a mix of things, but I really enjoyed some of the Czech foods, especially a dish we have called svíčková kebab.
I love steak and French fries. It's a staple food in France.
Definitely my favorite food is pizza, just because it's the perfect food next to ice cream here on Earth.
My favorite food is steak. That's really my favorite food.
My favorite sports team is the University of North Carolina Tar Heels because I'm a Tar Heel from the state of North Carolina.
Well, I'm a huge Los Angeles Laker fan, and I love Kobe Bryant.
The Green Bay Packers, because I was raised in northern Wisconsin and it's more of a religion there than a sport.
I was working in Greenville, North Carolina for a bank, and Jessica was finishing up her nursing degree in Greenville as well, and we met at our college and singles class at our church.
I was sitting in the front row of college, and they had all the homecoming candidates walk across the stage, and I knew that was my wife.
Well, I met my wife at the Bible Institute in Argentina.
Hourly or daily? At least 30 times, 40 times in a day.
About 15 times.
When I'm in the ministry in Portugal, quite a bit. Maybe an hour a day, hour and a half a day.
Well, I have a very cheap cell phone. I'm not into buying expensive cell phones, but I use it almost like, I don't know, like every 10 minutes it rings.
As a teenager, the biggest challenge was simply come to understand what Christ did for me.
I think the biggest challenge as a teenager was peer pressure.
I think my biggest challenge was, first of all, not having a father who really would bring us up the way I today know a parent ought to bring up his children.
I guess the biggest challenge would have been making a decision to stand up for Christ when I didn't have any real mentors and models in front of me.
God called us to become missionaries at a small little church in the mountains of North Carolina, and it was a missionary speaking. The Lord just laid it on our hearts, and we committed our lives to serve Him.
Well, it was a struggle. I realized at age 17 and a half, my senior year in high school, that God was calling me to be a missionary, but I struggled against it.
I was praying for missionaries, went on a short-term trip to Uganda, and I was praying that God would send missionaries. I had no idea that God was looking at me as one of the best candidates. Now I fix people's lives to the glory of God.
To fail God.
My greatest fear is to be unfaithful.
My greatest fear is being able to finish the task that God's given me to do. Wondering if you'll be able to do it. Will we be able to get the club program throughout the Caribbean? Will I be able to see it through to the end?
Failing.
Would be that I don't finish well, that I disqualify myself from the work of the ministry.
Jesus Christ, the light of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Thailand is a nation of 70 million people. Less than half of 1% of those people are believers in Jesus Christ.
My country's greatest need right now is more missionaries.
My country's greatest need today is people who can come and serve with us.
people to continue sharing the gospel and to disciple the young people to be leaders themselves.
Discipleship and evangelism. We have incredible young people that just don't have hope for a future. Their hope is tied up in money and material things and not in Jesus Christ.